The Mandalorian has been tasked with returning his charge, a child, to its people, the Jedi. He begins searching for other Mandalorians who he believes can help him find the Jedi, and is directed to a rumored Mandalorian operating out of the Tatooine town, Mos Pelgo. There, he learns that there is no Mandalorian in Mos Pelgo, but is confronted by Marshal Cobb Vanth, who wears Mandalorian armor. Vanth explains that he freed his town from the control of the mining collective using this armor, which he bought from Jawas in the desert. The town is now frequently attacked by a crate dragon. Vanth agrees to give the Mandalorian armor back to its people in exchange for help killing the crate dragon. The Mandalorian arranges an agreement between the villagers of Mos Pelgo and a local clan of Tusken Raiders to work together to kill the crate dragon in exchange for peace between the groups. They lure out the crate dragon, which is ultimately killed by the Mandalorian. He leaves with Vanth's armor, watched in the distance by a scarred Boba Fett. The Mandalorian agrees to take a frog lady and her eggs from Tatooine to the estuary moon Trask, where her husband will fertilize the eggs in exchange for information on other Mandalorians. Due to the eggs' fragility, they must travel at slow sub-light speeds. On their journey, they are confronted by X-Wing fighters who force the Mandalorian to a nearby icy planet because he is wanted by the New Republic for his role in a prison break. He crash lands on the planet. While the Mandalorian fixes the ship, the child stumbles upon numerous eggs inside an ice cave, which hatch to reveal a swarm of spider-like creatures. The Mandalorian, child, and passenger are trapped in the Razor Crest, the Mandalorian ship, until the X-Wing pilots find them and kill the creatures. They explain that because the Mandalorian helped apprehend his accomplices from the prison break, they will drop the arrest warrant and leave him with a warning. After the Mandalorian finishes the repairs, the tattered Razor Crest takes off and resumes its journey to Trask. The Frog Lady reunites with her husband, and they direct the Mandalorian to a local inn where he can find information on other Mandalorians. A fisherman offers to take the Mandalorian to the others, but on board the fishing ship he is ambushed by fishermen who want to sell his armor. The Mandalorian and the child are rescued by 3 Mandalorians, led by Bo-Katan. She enlists his help in seizing weapons from an Imperial freighter in exchange for information on the Jedi. After boarding the freighter, Bo-Katan reveals that their main objective is to capture the ship along with the weapons for their war effort to reconquer Mandalore. The Imperial captain is instructed by Moff Gideon to crash the ship, but his efforts are stopped by Bo-Katan, who questions the captain about the dark saber. The captain kills himself. Bo-Katan directs the Mandalorian to meet the Jedi Ahsoka Tano in the city of Caladan on the forest planet of Corvus. With the Razor Crest partially repaired, the Mandalorian and the child continue on their journey. The Razor Crest requires further repairs before it can reach Corvus, so the Mandalorian and the child take a detour to Navarro, where they are reunited with their allies, Cara Dune and Greef Karga. While the Razor Crest is being repaired, the Mandalorian is shown how much things have improved on Navarro since he was last there, under the stewardship of Karga as magistrate and Dune as marshal. The last challenge that they are facing is a remaining Imperial base on the planet, and the Mandalorian agrees to help them destroy it. They discover that the base is being used as a laboratory by Dr. Pershing to conduct experiments with the child's blood, which has a high midichlorian count. They destroy the base and escape, pursued by stormtroopers on speeder bikes and TIE fighters. Dune and Karga manage to stop the speeder bikes, while the Mandalorian destroys the TIE fighters with the repaired Razor Crest. The Mandalorian and the child leave for Corvus, unaware that an Imperial spy has planted a tracker on the Razor Crest for Moff Gideon. The Mandalorian and the child arrive at the city of Caladan on the planet Corvus to find the population living in fear of the city's magistrate, Morgan Elsbeth, and her guards, including a hired mercenary named Lang. Elsbeth offers to give the Mandalorian a spear of Beskar steel in exchange for killing Ahsoka. The Mandalorian finds Ahsoka outside the town and presents the child to her. Using the Force, Ahsoka determines that the child's name is Grogu, and that he had begun training as a Jedi before the rise of the Empire. She agrees to continue his training if the Mandalorian helps defeat Elsbeth. They overpower the guards, free the citizens, and the Mandalorian kills Lang. Ahsoka confronts Elsbeth and demands to know the whereabouts of her master, Grand Admiral Thrawn. Afterwards, Ahsoka refuses to train Grogu due to his close attachment to the Mandalorian. Instead, she directs them to an ancient temple on the planet Tython, where Grogu can use the Force to find other Jedi and decide his own fate. She also gives the spear to the Mandalorian. The Mandalorian takes Grogu to the ancient temple on Tython and places him on the Seeing Stone at its center. Grogu meditates and is surrounded by a protective energy field. Boba Fett soon arrives with the mercenary Fennec Shand, who the Mandalorian had previously left for dead on Tatooine. Boba Fett explains that the armor worn by Cobb Vanth belongs to him, as his father Jango was a Mandalorian foundling. The Mandalorian agrees to return the armor in exchange for the safety of Grogu, just as Moff Gideon arrives and deploys stormtroopers. Boba Fett, Fennec, and the Mandalorian repel the stormtroopers' attack, during which time Grogu finishes meditating and the energy field around him disappears. Gideon destroys the Razor Crest from orbit before deploying his droid Dark Troopers, who succeed in capturing Grogu. To honor their deal, Boba Fett and Fennec promise to help the Mandalorian get Grogu back. They travel in Boba Fett's ship, Slave 1, to Navarro, and ask for Dune's help in breaking criminal Miggs Mayfeld out of New Republic prison. Cara Dune uses her new credentials as a Marshal of the New Republic to transfer Miggs Mayfeld, an ex-Imperial, from prison to her custody. He agrees to help locate Moff Gideon's cruiser, but needs access to an internal terminal. He suggests a secret Imperial mining hub on Morak. There, Mayfeld and the Mandalorian hijack a transport carrying an explosive mineral, and they manage to reach the mining facility despite attacks from local pirates. They are able to get Gideon's coordinates from the terminal, but the Mandalorian is forced to remove his helmet in front of others for the first time since he took his Mandalorian oath. The pair are confronted by Mayfeld's old Imperial commanding officer, whom Mayfeld kills when he gloats about atrocities committed by the Empire in Operation Cinder. Mayfeld and the Mandalorian escape with the help of Fennec, Dune, and Boba Fett. Because of his help, Dune decides to let Mayfeld go. The Mandalorian sends Gideon a transmission warning that he is coming for Grogu, paraphrasing a similar speech that Gideon had previously given. The Mandalorian and Dune board an Imperial shuttle and capture Dr. Pershing. They enlist the help of Bo-Katan and Casca Reeves to rescue Grogu. In return, Bo-Katan gets Gideon's cruiser and the Darksaber, and the Mandalorian considers helping them to liberate Mandalore. They use the shuttle to get close enough to crash land on Gideon's cruiser, with Boba Fett pretending to attack them in Slave 1. Bo-Katan, Casca, Fennec, and Dune fight through stormtroopers to the cruiser's bridge. Meanwhile, the Mandalorian finds the Dark Troopers, barely defeats one of them with the Beskar spear, and ejects the rest into space. He fights Gideon with the spear and overpowers the Moff, making him the new rightful owner of the Darksaber. The Dark Troopers fly back onto the ship, but are all destroyed by Luke Skywalker, a Jedi whom Grogu contacted on Tython. The Mandalorian gives Grogu permission to go with Skywalker and R2-D2 to complete his training. In a post-credit scene, Boba Fett and Fennec Shand travel to Jabba's palace on Tatooine, where Boba Fett kills